everyone, it's Leela from Miss Kiss Creations. Today I'm wanting to show you how to strip a tumbler. So if you have a tumbler that you don't like, that you've done and you just want to strip it, this is an easy way to get everything off. You don't have to throw away this tumbler. This tumbler is reusable. So I'm going to go over the materials that you'll be needing today, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So you'll need a tumbler that you're wanting to strip. You're going to need some acetone. And the acetone that I'm using today is Clean Strip. I did get this from Walmart. I've also used Jasco. I purchased this one from Lowe's. So as long as it is acetone, it doesn't matter what brand, it just needs to be acetone. I did get that from the paint stripping section. You're going to be needing a gallon-sized bag, and these are freezer bags from Walmart. And I also have aluminum foil you'll be needing, and some paper towels. And this is acetone, so please wear gloves. Sometimes I do double up on gloves because the acetone will eat right through the gloves. So if you do have sensitive skin, please go ahead and use thicker or a double up on gloves. What I'm going to do is you're going to take your paper towel and you're going to drench it. So I poured the acetone inside of my leftover container, and I have this one container. It is only for acetone. So I just poured it in here like so, like a little bit, not too much, but it is going to absorb, the paper towel is going to absorb the acetone. And I just let my paper towel soak inside of my acetone, and I really want to make it wet. And as I let it soak, I'm going to open up my plastic bag. And then I'm going to take my tumbler, and I'm going to take my paper towel, and I'm going to wrap my paper towel around my tumbler. And if you guys do notice, I am outside. Acetone is very strong. I don't want to use this indoors. It's stronger than epoxy. So make sure you are outside or in your garage. I highly recommend that. So I have my tumbler wrapped with my paper towel, and now I'm going to take my aluminum foil. I'm going to wrap this up again, and I'm going to wrap up my tumbler like a burrito. And you want to make sure it's very tight. So as I'm wrapping, I'm pushing on the tumbler. And don't forget the bottom. The bottom needs to come off as well because we do epoxy the bottoms of the tumbler. And I want to make sure this is sealed at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to take my hand and I'm pushing underneath or inside of the tumbler so it can have that seal in the tumbler. You don't want any air coming in the tumbler. You want the acetone to be trapped inside of the aluminum foil and the paper towel. So I'm going to place my tumbler inside of my gallon-sized freezer bag. And again, you don't want any air inside of here. So you want to make sure that you let all the air out. You press down. And if you see, the acetone ate through my glove. So you want to press down all the air. And there you have it. And I'm going to let this sit for about 4 hours. It honestly depends how many coats of epoxy you have on your tumbler. I only have I think I have 2 coats on this one, so I'm going to let this one sit for 4 hours. I know some people let theirs sit for about 30 minutes. I've never checked on it after 30 minutes. I've always waited at least 4 hours. So then we'll check on it in 4 hours, and we will be back. Alright everybody, we're back with my tumbler. I did let this sit for about 4 hours. I didn't mention this in the beginning of the video, but I did let this sit in my craft room. I do live in Florida and it is very hot and humid, so if I would have let this sit outside, the humidity and the heat will actually dry up the acetone. So we do want to keep this inside. I do let it sit outside at night in the winter months, like February, March. That's winter for Florida here. So do keep that in mind. If you do live in a hot climate area, it will most likely dry out your acetone and dry out your cup, and the epoxy will not come off. And when you do open this inside, It is a very strong smell, so you can wear a face mask or make sure your windows are open or anything. Or you can open this outside as long as it sits inside for the amount of time that you're letting it rest and letting it strip the tumbler. And when I do open this, I always do try to put a towel or a trash bag down or some kind of plastic, just in case it does get messy. Sometimes it's not as messy, sometimes it is. And I do have my scissors, my razor blade, and my knife, just in case I have to scrape off the epoxy. Sometimes the acetone doesn't take off the epoxy that well, and sometimes I do use a flathead screwdriver, but I don't have that on the video now. So I'm going to open this bag. Like I said, you're going to get hit with a strong tone of acetone, so if you are sensitive to acetone or anything like that, please open this outside or wear a face mask. And I do reuse these bags. I make sure I obviously only reuse them to strip my tumblers. And then we're just going to unwrap the tumbler. Like I said, it might be messy, so I do put my wrap down, my plastic. You can already see that this is already coming off. And you just unwrap it. And if you can see, this is great. This one is peeling right off. This is oddly satisfying for me, guys. So this is peeling right off. This stripped so well. And it is still moist. This is still a little wet, so it's great. If it's still wet, that means it did not dry out. I have left my tumblers outside in this Florida heat. I left them for a day, and I come back, it's completely dry. The tumbler looks the same. It just looks a little dull. So you just want to unwrap it. And this is all I do is I unwrap it, and it comes clean. And sometimes if it's a little stubborn in places like the bottom, you can just wipe your finger and just take off the excess. And what I'll do is either with my screwdriver or my razor blade, I just scrape off the parts that's, like I said, the parts that are stubborn. I just scrape them off. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you do scratch your tumbler, because you're going to be spray painting over it anyways. And look at this big mess. I want to keep this. Look at this mess. So all of this came off. And what I usually do is I just take my entire plastic bag and I just roll it up. Oops. Or I get it everywhere. I just roll it up and I just throw away the entire bag. Then what I do is I take my 91% alcohol and I wipe down my tumbler with my 91% alcohol. So this was purchased from Amazon, and you can get it at any, I believe at Walgreens or CVS. I don't think they sell this at Walmart, but make sure it is 91% alcohol, not 71% alcohol.